Good morning, 9 o'clock and a few seconds. June 8th, 2023 on a Thursday. It should be Thursday. Pretty sure it's a Thursday. Get an audio check here. Pretty sure it's a Thursday. There it is. Double checking. Yeah, it's Thursday. Doug. Come over here to the chat window. I've got the chat not maximized. We'll see if we don't get that flickering today. Robert, I joined the crowd first, LOL. Darren, hi. Tim, Sal is third. Greg M, for those who return items to Amazon, do you get your refund only after Amazon receives the item, or is the refund within hours of sending the item back? Most consistently, I'll take it to the shipping place, and by the time I get back home, I've received an email saying my refund has been done. So what they're doing at the place where I take the package to, which is a UPS store, usually, they scan it, and that is enough for Amazon to accept the item. Now, when the item is from some other seller who sells through Amazon, I've seen it take longer, and I've also had some items when I do the return procedure, they tell me that the credit will come after they receive it. But there's been times when I get that message that still I get, as soon as it gets scanned in to the shipping service, it's the refund comes. But I've also had times when I take it to the shipping service and I don't see the refund until later in the day or the next day. And I'm figuring that's probably their backlog of, I don't know, processing items at the shipping site. So that's my response to the question. Nicholas Hooks, hello. Bobby Warren says, please let Ken know I sent him an email. So, Ken Stout, are you listening? Bobby Warren sent you an email. I had to say that louder because he might not be watching the show. John Williams, when I returned things to Amazon, I got my payment back within a few minutes. Greg M, to John, I got that for one return, but another return of a different item sold and shipped by Amazon is not refunded yet. They got the item yesterday. Just wondering why the inconsistency. John says, I don't know why, Greg. I never have any inconsistencies. Rand Israel, hello. Selden Ball, greetings, Hall. 58 degrees and lightly raining. Air quality index is down to 147. The sky isn't quite as yellow as yesterday. Well, I have rain forecast for today. Not anymore. 2 hours ago, before the Fortnite stream, rain was forecast for today over several hours of time and 30% on each of them. But now, no rain forecast. That is so often the case when there's rain in the forecast and then it just doesn't come. And 68 degrees currently, expecting a high of 84. On Dog, well, I have been here. Eileen Novak, hello, Eileen. Good to see you. She says hello to everyone. Ken says hello to Eileen. Jeff Ryman, good morning. Generally speaking, from Londog. I like the return policy and method with Amazon, but when making a purchase, I do look at where the product comes from. Ken says, what? I could barely hear that garble. Hello, Alice. And Bobby Warren, Ken Stout, I sent you my Bitmoji. Bitmoji. My Bitmoji. What? Going on mute. And successfully unmuted. Mike Wojcik, hello everyone. Eileen's got a hand waving emoji. Eileen says hello to Ken. Ken Stout to Bobby, I got it, was wanting more of an actual photo. A photo of you, not a photo of something. I'm going to guess he wants a photo of you. Air quality index in Duluth, Minnesota is 34, which is good. Now, Dennis isn't in Duluth, Minnesota. We know he's in Panama. He's telling me that because I was asking about my brothers home yesterday. Doug, why do you have a different cup today? Well, because I'm drinking hot water to try to not have so much trouble with my throat like I did yesterday. I still have the Ken Stout Zoom Homies cup. For those who don't know, he made this cup for the people that show up on his evening show quite a long time ago. And there's little Doug. That's a little Doug right there. So that cup is always on my desk, and I drink cool water out of that. Why does it matter, cool or hot? I don't know. Am I reluctant to put the Ken Stout cup in the microwave and heat it up because I think it'll fade? It probably won't. Brian says hello to Eileen, and Eileen says hello to Brian. I did it for my safety, Ken Stout, meaning he didn't send a picture of himself. I'm guessing what that is. Bobby, please let me know. Ken know I sent him an email. And what was the other thing about it? I sent you my Bitmoji. So I guess it's for his safety. If he sends you a photo, he considers that not safe. Ken Stout, well, yes, of him, not much good if he sends me a photo of you for being first on the chat stream. Oh, yeah, Ken Stout, he modifies his intro each day to show who was first into the chat room the previous day. Lon Dog says that's a fantastic looking cup. That's what is it? I don't know, a year old or more by now. Only 364 more days until your birthday, to Ken. Anniversary of his birthday. Yeah, Ken's not going to get born in 364 days. That'll be another anniversary. Long Dog Ken, did you go and do your blood test today? Dennis, air quality is 44 in Betania, Panama, where it's 86 degrees Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy. Dennis and I have a big day tomorrow in Fortnite because tomorrow is the beginning of the new season. This last season, we have not been playing with viewers. Starting tomorrow, we're going to be playing with viewers, and I think the thumbnail is going to be something like Kill Squad on the top because we're going to be going after kills and going after wins. And then some Fortnite content. Maybe some little Dougs will make appearance in my thumbnail. And then at the bottom, let's see, viewers play. And I'm predicting we're going to get a lot more viewers with that pursuit. Our viewership has been way down this season, but it's been really fun, for me anyway. Inside Task Manager with the original author. What? What is this? Oh, of course it's Dave. All right, I will watch that. I think I may have, 1 hour ago. That's brand new. Oh, very good. Thank you for that, Greg M. Speedy C Drive says, hi, Doug and chat. Brian, no matter how much I study for a blood test, I can never get an A, always just a B+. I always get an A. Every time they check my blood, I get an A. In fact, it's an A+. For those who don't know what we mean by that, my blood type is A+. I blocked Ken Stout live as an experiment as a request. Now can't find the option to unblock. Can you help? Yes, I can help. We'll get right to that. Air quality index in Fresno is 26. Bobby, Ken Stout, I have wisdom surgery this morning. Is it going to make you smarter? Is it going to make you better? All right, so let's come over to, let's see, where am I going? Oh, to unblock Ken Stout. So you come to your channel, to your studio. So let's see, I'm already at the studio here. So maybe I'll come over here and choose YouTube Studio. So from a normal YouTube page, you can go to YouTube Studio and then come down to Settings and then come to Community. And then scroll down here into the Hidden Users section. And you should expect to find Ken Stout in here. When you find him, just click on the X to unblock him. Did that answer your question? What accent is that, Doug? Question. I don't know. All right, let's see. Don't I have some things flagged for today? I do, and I did not pre-open them. Pre-open them. Such an oddball word. So it's not on bookmarks. I think it's in emails. Yes. We could get a load of this. Here's the email questions that I received. They all came from some bloke named DougBetts, and one of them came from somebody named me. No, I can't be exposing anybody else's email addresses by showing these, so I can show them because they're all from me to me. This was a chat room comment 941 from Lawn Dog. That is another thing I believe Windows 10 and above has taken away from us, the ability to pause a Windows virus scan that should be available to us, or a selection to disable when system resources. Well, I think you can, and I have done that. I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to go demonstrate where to do that. Come over to the Windows security icon. Now, of course, this is with Windows Defender. If you're using a third-party product, your results may vary, may be different. So I'm going to go into there and then go to Virus and Threat Protection, come to Scan Options, and let's see, no, that's not what I wanted to get to. Not Scan Options, but let's see, Virus and Threat Protection Updates, not there, Scan Options, Protection History, that's the wrong place. Virus and Threat Protection, where is the one? I went there yesterday to make sure that I could get there. Virus and Threat Protection, and Virus and Threat Protection, Manage Settings. Here, turn real-time protection off. And that I believe will stop a, well, that's going to stop it from scanning things that are happening right now. I don't think that's going to stop a scan in progress, but that is one thing that you can turn off now. Now, to stop a scan in progress, Windows key, or click on the Windows button, and then Task Scheduler. So click on Task Scheduler, or just press Enter when it's highlighting it. Then expand the scheduler library, expand Microsoft, expand Windows, then scroll down to Windows Defender. And if you're using a third-party product, I think you can do that in here too. So click on Windows Defender, and then make this column wider. Now, by the way, you should be able to make that column wider just by double-clicking on the right margin of that column. That'll make it wide enough to be wide enough for everything that's in that column. And then here is scheduled scan. So if it's currently scanning, you can end it from here. You could disable it from here. Now, something that I have done on a couple of computers when I go in to look at a sluggish computer, and I come in here to processes and sort by CPU in descending order, and then I see that there's scanning going on here, and it's taking up a lot of resources, or the computer just seems sluggish. What I'll do is come in here and actually schedule the scans, because this is a weird thing about the way that Windows 10 scheduled activities. Notice that my last run was June 8th, this morning at 8:19 a.m. Now, I started my Fortnite stream at 7 a.m. and then I was on the computer for a little bit after that. I probably left the computer about 10 minutes after 8, and then it looks like it waited about 10 minutes, and then it performed a scan. So it should be avoiding doing a scheduled scan while you're active on the computer. But I've found times when it just seems to keep going and going and going, and it's just kind of broken. So right-click and choose Properties. And notice on triggers, there's no triggers in here by default, although it still scans every day without any trigger. Well, what I've done a couple of times is click here on New and actually schedule a daily scan and make it for a time when I know the computer's not going to be in use, and it's going to reoccur every day. Now, I don't want it to start a scan right now. Well, why not? Because this computer's fast enough. I'll put that at 15. Whoops, I hit a wrong key there. Didn't mean to hit that. I'm going to have to put it on 16 because 15 has already occurred. And click OK. So now that is scheduled to start, and if I double click on the right margin of triggers, I see that's going to start at 9:16 every day. So if we hang out here for a little bit, we should see this status change to running, and I should be able to demonstrate ending it. So let's go back. This was the email that I was working on. When is it going to flip to 16? We still got about 20 seconds, a little less. And if I click to go to the previous message in here, Alice was telling us that she uses Kaspersky. She was the one asking us yesterday about her sluggish computer when she's playing games. And I have other questions for Alice about that. Do I want to, there's 9:16. Am I going to see the start? Oh, I think I have to refresh. Oh, I'll refresh over here on the right-hand side. Do we get to see it? 6:8, 8:19. It hasn't shown as running yet. I'm not sure if I have to set it further into the future in order for that to take, or maybe even have to restart the computer. So clearly, oh, that was 40 seconds after is what I scheduled it to start. We haven't got 40 seconds yet. So we're about to get to 40 seconds. See if it starts. I won't be surprised if it doesn't, because I think you might have to schedule further into the future for that to take. It's not showing yet. It's still showing last run time 8:19. So I've found this to be a little odd in how it does it. So I'm going to go ahead and change that a little bit further in the future, and then actually close task scheduler. Now you're going to have to remind me in chat or on a text message to go look at that. I'm going to set it for 9:25 a.m. Oh, well, no, it says start on 6/8, so that should start today. Since it already ran today and it's scheduled for daily, yeah, I don't know if that's going to trigger or not. All right, I'm going to go back to chat room, see what you guys are saying. Then I'll go into my other emails that I triggered to talk about today. Mike Wojak, do a horrible blood test. Always got 0+. Jeff, working on it. Wisdom teeth surgery. Mike, yeah, I understood that, Bobby. AQI in New York, 183. That's unhealthy. Doing 3 things at once from Eileen. Jeff Ryman, I have no hidden users. Was he the one that said he blocked Ken Stout? So you're saying that you still have Ken Stout blocked and it wasn't in the place that I showed? I have no hidden users. Is there any other way to block Ken Stout? So Jeff, does that mean you're not seeing Ken's comments on in your chat room? What else could there be? Where was that at? Go down here, settings. Is there any other place? Standard moderators, approving, managing moderators, hidden users, specifics who can redirect, blocked. I don't know where else you're going to do that. So, Jeff, are you not able to see Ken's messages in your chat room? Wintermute's suggestion worked, I think. What was Wintermute's suggestion? Jeff Ryman, is Ken listed here for you? On Google. Okay. Oh, because you blocked him not on your YouTube channel, but through Google. All right. Let's see, 9:12. Let's see that. Blocked users. I have no users blocked. So this is by going to, let's see, if you go to your Google, manage your Google account, and the path to get there, data and privacy probably, and then look for where's blocked users. What is the path to get there? That link that Wintermute gave, people and sharing, maybe that's it. Here, blocked users, no blocked users. So that's how you get to it. Click up here on your Google Chrome and go into manage your Google account, and then people and sharing, and then blocked. So was it Jeff that was having that issue? Zavi Menor, hello. Hellos between peoples. I'm done. Microsoft Weather app has a quality index for most places on the planet. If you're asking about Mars or the moon, it's not going to work. Hellos between people. I've been watching Dave's Task Manager video. It's very interesting to watch. Ken Stout, do you have a show today? Yes, I need to know that too, Ken. Yes, Doug, I finally found somebody who agrees with me about how Microsoft performs its virus scan. I've noticed this for 10 years, maybe longer. Windows 7 was notorious for doing a virus scan on startup. I have a machine that I use every day that this problem has been going on. I just live with it. I like your approach, just putting a schedule of your own. Maybe he will get Microsoft Scanner to stop acting up. It's been a problem in the product for god-awful amount of time. I wish Microsoft would address this. I'm just trying to do Long Dog's comments there because he's got typically paragraphs in multiple different chat lines. Famous last words, the computer's fast enough. And Aliage, Zvi Ranish or Aliage to pay is not here. I can write in Hebrew. Does that mean when Aliage is here, you can't? Nick just got here. I was stuck in a Zoom meeting. Ken listed, that's the Google account thing. It said next time run as June 9th. Did it? I thought I looked for that. Task scheduler. Microsoft. Does Ken Stout have a show? And I need to get to my questions for Alice. Next run time is June 8th. No, it doesn't say June 9th. What are you saying it says June 9th? And here, it says June 8th. That looks okay. I'll leave that open. So next run, Brian was saying that. I need to get to the questions for Alice, and I think, did I put them in that email? Where's that? Where's my email stuff? Over here. Yeah, Alice was using Kaspersky. She's the one that was reporting when she's using the game Sim, I think it was called, that her computer is sluggish. Going to the next one. Ken says you can chat for 3 minutes no matter which way you stop the stream. That's not true. I'm going to tell you the nuances about that in a bit. Game mode graphics settings. Oh, yes. Here's another thing about game mode that we looked at yesterday. If you go Windows key and then game mode, this is for Alice. Game mode settings, because there's another setting in here. Game mode is on by default. But if you go over here to graphics setting, this one is off by default. Hardware accelerated GPU scheduling, reduced latency, improved performance. You'll need to restart your PC to have changes take effect. So that's another thing for Alice to try. And graphics performance preference, you can, let's see, choose between better performance or battery life when using an app. You might need to restart the app for your changes to effect. Now, that's only going to be if it's a Microsoft Store game that you're playing, that you could select that. But this is independent of this setting. So Alice, try turning that on. So other questions for Alice. Did it used to perform better than it's performing now? How long ago did it get sluggish? Was it like an overnight thing? Was it after a Windows update maybe? Is this something that has just gotten more sluggishy and sluggishy over time, and it's been gradual change? Is it that your computer has always been sluggish with this game? So that gives us a little context of the sluggishness that you're reporting. So that is my follow-up questions for Alice. It's an EA game. What's EA? I don't get that acronym. Explain that to me, Alice. I don't recognize that. How does one unblock on Android? Okay, well, that would be a mobile device, so it's still going to your Google account. On an Android device, you bring up YouTube or your Chrome browser, and you should be able to go to your profile icon, and I suspect manage your Google account, because it's in your Google account. It's not on the phone if the block occurred in your Google account. Electronica Arts. So I think Electronica Arts, as opposed to Microsoft Store. It's not a Microsoft Store game, I'm guessing. And I'm not familiar with the game, but that's enough for me to be able to go find it. More sluggish over over the game. Let's see. More sluggish over time, the game, last few months. PC hasn't always been sluggish. So the game used to be very responsive. Now, one thing that can happen over time is that, like just Windows updates, can be causing more work for your computer, or something else in the background that's causing more work. Full hard drive would be a problem. I've had people come up, have sluggish computers, and go look at their C drive, and you got 10 megabytes free. So you need that, particularly on SSDs or M.2 storage media. You want to have plenty of free space, because they do the trim function in the background. They're always moving things around to balance out the life of your drive. You need to have lots of free space on an SSD or M.2. I could just say SSD. I know that M.2 is a form of SSD, but just in case some people don't think of it that way. PC hasn't always been sluggish. Looking for more from Alice. Electronic Arts, it's through the Electronics Art apps, which you can download from their website. It has many game packs you can buy to build the game up. Dennis has a link for Fortnite status. I haven't seen anything about, does Ken have a show? All right, I'm going to go look. Yeah, go to YouTube. I heard him last night say he didn't know if he was going to do a daily debacle this morning. So nope, he doesn't have a show. Let's go see if Carrie has a show. As you know, I will always redirect to Carrie if Ken's not going to do a show. And I'll always redirect to Carrie on Fridays, even if Ken has a show. So yes, he's here again. The main monster maniac live streamer. Carrie is going to town with these shows. Let's see, it's normal time? Yep, his normal start time. Review, B-Link, GTR R7, Gaming Mini PC. 8 cores, 16 threads, 32 gigabytes, 1 terabyte, Wi-Fi 6. Let's see, Eileen says, I found it. Never mind. How does one block on Android? So she found the unblock. Got it. Great. Electronic Arts. Found it. Electronica Arts. Hello's like Need for Speed. From Chris. Brian, I thought it said June 9th. Gonna rewind, check my eyes. Let's see, I already read that one. Is it a hard disk drive or SSD? That's a question for Alice. Yeah, we need to get around to the specs of this computer, and of course, hard drive or SSD. I asked Alice yesterday to send me the MS Info 32 report or screenshots, photos of various screens. I'm not sure if I displayed I think I displayed my email address. For God's sakes, I hope it's not a hard drive. Well, no, that'd be great if it is, because that's an easy fix, is to upgrade to SSD. That's an easy fix. My PC is 2 terabytes. I have 1 terabyte free. So it's a 2 terabyte drive with 1 terabyte free. What kind of drive is it, Alice? It's a desktop computer, but is it a spinning hard drive, or is it an SSD, or is it an M.2? Is it an NVMe drive? If you don't know, send us photographs. See, another photograph beyond the ones that I asked for yesterday would be disk management. And because isn't that going to give us some information? Well, actually, no, it doesn't tell us a whole lot about what the drive is, does it? Come on, come on, come on. I don't think there's been any flickering today for the chat room, has there? We will find out see what other drives that you have. Let's see, these healthy would be reporting the smart information from the drives, I believe. Yeah, might as well send a picture of that. I'm not sure if we're going to need that. I think I saw Alice. Nope, it's a desktop computer, which doesn't tell us a whole lot about its performance. No flicker that I've seen from Selden Ball. It's a hard drive. It may be, if it's a hard drive, it may be drying. Well, I've had SSDs that were horrible performance. I had an SSD that was doing like 2 megabits per second. And it's a computer that wasn't operating anymore, and that drive was only 6 months old. And I've told you about that before. Eileen says yes, but yes to what? I don't know what that yes is to. Oh, I guess I was yes to saying that she, confirming that she found the block option on her Android device. Carrie has a show. Of course, he has a show. On dog to Alice. 2 terabytes, 1 terabyte freeze. Yes, excellent. What kind of drive? Also, is your computer laptop or desktop? We need to know processor, amount of RAM. I'd love for you to send the pictures and send the MS Info 32 rather than answering the questions one at a time. Or you can do that if you prefer. Let's stop fooling around. Give us the specs. Why be so? Hey, don't use. Hey, no, lawn dog. No, that's kind of. No, that's not that's an unfriendly way to say it. I'm calling her cryptic. No, please don't. Be kind with your wording. No flickering so far. No flickering that I've seen. Yes to Carrie's show. I know you didn't mean it in a mean way, but that's the kind of thing that people can easily take as unkind. It's a hard disk drive. Okay, how do you feel about upgrading to an SSD? Okay, a hard drive, that is probably your biggest problem. However, it used to be much faster. Used to be much faster, a little bit faster. Now, if it's a spinning hard drive, how about just well, Windows 10 automatically does optimizing, defragging, so you shouldn't need to defrag it manually. If you add a lot of content, take away content, install programs, remove programs, have massive amount of files, delete massive amount of files, you can have fragmentation. But if you can afford to upgrade to an SSD, that'd be, well, no, wait a minute. A lot of people around here are just automatically, they say you must have SSD over spinning hard drives. That distinction only affects the time that it takes to open and close files and for the swap file to operate, virtual memory. So there are certain things that will affect, but it won't affect, it's not going to improve your processor and memory speed. So there are some things that will be improved. If she was complaining about the load time for the game, then yeah, absolutely, the SSD. But if that game loads into memory and then it's all CPU and RAM and graphics card, SSD might not be as much of an improvement as you think. A lot of people just get it into their heads and very, very stubborn about every speed problem is the fault of a spinning hard drive. Not it's a good bet. It's good to place your bets that a person's going to find the computer performing a lot better with an SSD, but it might not fix the game problem. If the sluggishness problem is because of things running in the background or because of anything misbehaving in the background, an SSD is likely not going to fix it until you fix whatever the true source of the trouble is. I've had plenty of computers with SSDs or NVMe drives that are sluggish because of something that's going on in the operating system or background software. That's not always going from a spinning hard drive to an SSD isn't always going to fix it, but a large percentage of the time it is. Hard drive, generally speaking, is 100 bits per second. Well, that's the common range, but 200 or 300, I've seen that. When you go, well, that depends upon the configuration of the test. That's fair to say, 100, 150, I think. When you go to SSD, you're looking at 400 to 500 bits per second. It has tremendous effects on that machine performance. Yes, but not necessarily for the performance issues she is having. Maybe. It depends upon where the sluggishness is actually occurring. Doug will explain. In the device manager and disk drives, you can find the disk model. Yes, I was thinking that at the same time I was going into that disk management because Alice, definitely expand the disk drive section. Make this window, maximize this window and expand as as many things as reasonable. Let's see, what do we really care about? We care about, monitors not so much. Maybe that, not that. That definitely. That probably, maybe that. The main things we want is like display adapters, disk drives. But MS Info 32, that's going to give us pretty much all of this information and a lot more. Let's minimize this. Oh, I'm overtime. Is Ken Stout? Well, Ken Stout is listening. So I got that thing I want to talk to him about. You might try defragmentation, probably will not do much. Alice defragged last week, so that's clearly not it. And Windows 10 does a pretty good job of automatically doing that. Here's from Alice. Processor Intel Core i5 7400, 2.4 gigahertz. 4 logical processors. Okay, not a monster gaming machine. Kind of a mid-range. But the key thing is this computer used to perform a lot better in that game. How about when does the performance difference happen? Can you specify, is it when you're starting a new game? Is it as your character is moving around, it gets jerky, sluggish? Graphics card driver could be an issue, even though it didn't used to be an issue. Maybe Windows updates has caused a need for a graphics card driver. Let's see, Windows key and updates. If you go into update settings and check to see if there are optional updates. Optional updates are many times updates that are provided by manufacturers of various components where they're giving these updates to fix specific issues, but they don't want to just blanket it out to everybody. They only want people who are having those troubles to install those updates. However, for the last year or so, I've been automatically installing all optional updates, and it's never caused a problem that I could identify. But those updates are not going to occur automatically. Doug, I like your explanation about what storage media does and the effect it has on performance of the machine, but the read and write is what a hard drive does all day long. Yes, but that might not be causing her specific issue, and the quicker that can get done, the better performance will be, especially if the drive is doing other things in the background. Yeah, fair statement. Alice, I think it might be the graphics card because the PC is now 5 years old. The graphics card used to be adequate. Consider a graphics card driver update before replacing the graphics card. Those are still decent specs. Yeah, I agree. They're decent. They should be fine for most games. You may not get the highest level of graphics and the highest level of features in the game, but the games should be completely playable. Lawn Dog Doug, at this time I'm storing my games that I get free on Steam on a mechanical hard drive, and the overall performance is somewhat slow because the games take time to load, but they probably play fine. Photomix Media, Doug, you speak the truth. I see him standing up on a mountaintop with a poster with some kind of a spear. Doug, you speak the truth. This is not an easy thing to describe, but I know you know what I'm getting at. You're absolutely right about the other things running in the background, trying to get the true root of the problem. Alice, when I load the game and when playing, it gets sluggish. When I load the game, it's sluggish, and when playing it, it gets sluggish. Does that imply it starts out good and then it gets sluggish as you're playing? Okay, that's making me think as you're playing, it's got more and more stuff maybe taking up more and more memory. The game's using more and more memory. So it's relying on your swap file, your virtual memory, and it's swapping things in and out of memory as you get deeper and deeper into the game. So that would mean an SSD would be very helpful there. Adding more memory. Do we know how much memory? I don't recall seeing how much RAM memory. How about that, Alice? How much RAM memory? Type X 64 PC. Starts out okay, sluggish when playing. Starts out okay. Yeah, the That sounds to me like it could be swap file. So what you Control Shift Escape to bring up Task Manager, and then Performance, and then let's see. So the swap file, I don't think we're going to see that here. Resource Monitor, drag that over to the right monitor. Then disk, let's see, I'm looking for where we get CPU disk. Go to the disk tab, looking for swap file activity. I'm not remembering it very well, but looking while you got the game running, open this disk activity and sort by the right column. I'm going to double click the right margin to make it bigger and see what is taking up the most of the right activity, and then look at this file. A double click there. Video files, YouTube Live, system file information, log files. Here's there's a log file there, system volume information. Let's see the swap file. Can I recognize it? It's hard with all those jumping around like that. So I'm going to sort by the image column and make this panel bigger, and swap file, registry system, XSplit core. Where do we get to see swap file? Well, I'm thinking is activity on the swap file, but there's an easier place to get that. Where is it? System disk type. Is somebody telling me in chat where to find that? Not enough. Activity on the swap file is what I'm thinking. Check disk with crystal disk info. Yes. Well, there's a lot more here. I'm way over time. Continuing, but also if this person clones to an SSD, then continues to use the machine as they normally would, I would like to hear their opinion on the performance and the supposed sluggishness. I think Alice upgrading to an SSD would be a great thing to do, just because of the percentage likelihood that that's going to make it a lot better. That computer is using onboard graphics rather than standalone video card. Do we know that? Have we heard from Alice whether there's a standalone video card? Baseboard manufacturer Lenovo. PC is an all-in-one. So, yeah, but all-in-ones can have a dedicated graphics card if they came with it. How about the serial number for your computer? That'd be great. Get us the serial number of your computer. We'll be able to find out a lot with that. So Windows key, and then CMD for command prompt, and then WMIC, KAYMOUSE, no, just WMIC, space, BIOS, get serial number. And, oh, this is a clone computer. So, this is built by Kerry Holzman, so there's no serial number here. But when your serial number comes up, you can double click on it to highlight it, and then Control-C to copy that, and then you can paste that in an email to me. That way we can actually have the serial number of your computer. That's easier than reading it off a label on the back of those computers. They're not easy to find the serial number. Greg M., another deep subject. Standalone graphics card, then go NVIDIA or AMD and install the current driver for the card. I think your serial number is going to give us, on an all-in-one, it's going to let us know whether there's a dedicated graphics. Starts out okay and sluggish when playing. You just made another distinction, and that is the difference between having an in section of the game and everything's working fine versus going to the next scene. That needs to be discussed to narrow down the specific problem. Between being in a section of the game and everything's working fine versus going to the next scene, that needs to be discussed and narrow down the specific problem is. If you're willing, Alice, to hold up your cell phone and if you can actually show it, make a video from a cell phone that shows the sluggishness, that would be so awesome. Let's see, at this point, don't know how much memory. Loading new scenes off a hard drive would be considered as sluggish behavior. Yeah, because each time it goes to a new scene, it has to load that off the hard drive. And if the hard drive is busy because it's also swapping stuff in and out of memory to the virtual memory or swap file and trying to load a new scene, and the scenes have become more complex. Now, how about this, Alice? How about, can you go into the settings of the game and lower the resolution, lower the quality of the game, And then does the game become zippier? Now, I'm not saying you want to stay that way. We want to get your computer back to performing at the level of graphics detail that you used to have, or possibly did you make a change to the graphics quality around the time that it started getting more sluggish and you didn't realize that that was causing the computer to be more sluggish. So look for options within the game that you can change to lower level settings, lower demand on the computer, and see if that gets it back up to speedier function. And then that'll help us target what to do to get it performing better. Lenovo, dust could be the problem. Mechanical disk, its average life is 5 years. From Zavi, Lawn Dog swap file, I would leave that setting to automatic, let Windows control it. Well, I had taken exception to it in this instance. Let's go look at the swap file. Right click on Windows and then System, and then go to Advanced System Settings, and then where was that? Hardware. Why am I not finding it? Where is that at? Performance? No. Startup and recovery? No. System restore, protection settings? No. Oh, come on, Doug. Where's it at? Oh, here. Virtual memory. Change. Something I have done in the past, and this is theoretical, I haven't proven it, is we got a recommended size and a currently allocated size. And so currently allocated right now is about half of what's recommended. Windows is recommending 32 gigabytes for the swap file, yet I currently only have 16 gigabytes. Why? Well, I think it's because my computer hasn't needed that much since it last restarted, which was this morning. So that number might automatically grow. However, if you got a spinning hard drive especially, as that grows, it's going to be fragmented, because when it first creates that file, it's going to be contiguous space. Now I'm talking about, this is my theory, my deduction. Haven't proven it. And as your computer increases the size, because now you're placing more and more demands on the swap file, it's going to add more file space, but that's possibly going to be fragmented. So what I'd rather do in that case is turn off the automatic and then use a custom size and put in the initial size of, say, the maximum amount. So put in the same number on both of these so that your computer will, and then afterwards do a defrag so that that file becomes contiguous. But the problem with that is a defrag cannot move the swap file. So you actually have to turn off paging, no paging file, defrag the drive, then come back in and put in a custom size, and that should create the swap file in a contiguous area. Now, again, I haven't proven this. That's my deduction, and something I've tried in the past, and I can't really prove that it's been successful. Virtual memories under memory. I think that's where I was, right? PCs all in one. That's another thing we have. You guys are giving so much more help there. I'm way over time. I'm going to go. I will read the rest of these and respond to more. Ken Stout, I don't know if he's still listening, but the thing that I was saying yesterday about when I end the stream and XSplit, I said that you'll have a few minutes in the chat room. And if I do in-stream in the YouTube studio, it's instantaneous. And Ken said, no, that's not true. Well, you're wrong, Ken, because you don't have redirects involved. This is true when there's redirects involved, because if I end the stream in the YouTube studio, and if people have their configuration set to auto redirect as on, then they're going to get sent to the other show right away. They won't have time to continue in the chat room, and you can't get back to the chat room once you've been sent away from it. If you click in the DVR mode and pause the video, then you can stay in the chat room even if you have auto redirect on. If you have auto redirect turned off, theoretically you should be able to stay in the chat room, but that doesn't work right because sometimes people get redirected anyway. So if I end the stream with an XSplit, YouTube doesn't know the stream's done yet, so it doesn't auto redirect people yet. So the whole thing about that I've said before, your results may vary. Ken tested a behavior and it was acting a certain way, and he said I was wrong. Doug is wrong. You can still chat even if you end the stream in the YouTube studio. No, that's what Ken's results were. My results vary because I have redirects set. Okay, so since the redirect is to Carrie's show, there's no need to send you there right away. I like to send you there right away for Ken's show because he's sitting there waiting. So I'm going to end the stream in XSplit, and you won't get kicked out of the chat room right away. So there. Take that, Ken Stout. You know we love each other. All right. Ending stream. And also, I'll count down the 3, 2, 1, 0 click. And you're probably only going to hear me get to the 2. Have a great day, everybody. Goodbye. 3,